Allowance for bad debt is an estimate of the dollar amount that won't be collected from accounts receivables. Let's go back to what accounts receivables is. Accounts receivables is the amount of money that our customers owe us for goods and services that have been rendered. For example, I like to use the analogy of, imagine a truck showing up with, maybe you're in the business of turkeys, and you show up to a retailer or a grocery store, and you have this truck of turkeys. Well, at the dock, the retailer signs and receives those turkeys. Now, nobody's walking out with a suitcase full of cash for those turkeys. What happens is now there's been a transfer of ownership, and now there is an invoice that happens. So the company that just received those turkeys or that truckload of goods now has to pay that receivable. Maybe you have some sort of terms in place. Maybe it's 30 days, maybe it's 60 days, maybe it's 90 days. As the seller of that product, that set of products, you've actually essentially just given credit to the company. You've essentially given them the goods with the intent and hope that they're going to pay you in the next 30, 60, 90 days. Now, the vast majority of the time, they will pay. But sometimes along the way, for whatever reason, you never are able to collect on that. Maybe the grocery store goes out of business. Maybe there's a fire the next week and you just never are able to collect it. So when a company reports on their balance sheet accounts receivable, you'll notice, and go look at yours now or go look at another one. Typically it'll say accounts receivables, comma, net. Sometimes it'll say net allowances for bad debt, but it'll almost always say comma net. And the net refers to whatever number is there in accounts receivables. In good faith, we expect to collect that money. If we don't think we're going to collect all of that money, maybe it's an allowance for bad debt, maybe there's a customer that just is going out of business, we don't know if they're going to pay it. Maybe our customer is a government and there's just been some government political issues that maybe you're never going to collect on it. For whatever reason, a company needs to report in good faith what they fully expect to collect, but that isn't always going to be what is owed to you. So what they'll have to do is they'll have to say, all right, this is what we believe the allowance for bad debt is. Maybe historically 3% of our debt never gets paid. Maybe it's historically 3%, and this one customer we're aware of there's a low probability they're going to pay for whatever reasons. But they then kind of build that estimate out, and then they say, okay, here's what is owed to us, comma, net of allowance, so we'll subtract out the allowance for bad debt. So in short, an allowance for bad debt is the debt that is doubtful that will actually get paid. And whatever we list in that accounts receivable line is in good faith what we fully expect will actually be collected.